So much for a silent intro. Can you tell I haven't been doing this for a while? There's no way to drink iced coffee quietly. On. Maybe. Oh, you guys are in for such a treat. I haven't done this in a while, and I can tell. Oh. Okay. Welcome to that very chaotic intro. I am B, also known as the Spinning Knitter on Instagram and on YouTube, also as the Spinning Knitter, which I'm sure you know. If you're popping back in to see my first video in a very long time, I have had a lot of life changes over the past couple years, and those of you who follow me on Instagram know that I've had a lot of people leave this earth over the past 2 years, and I have moved, which I'm still in the process of doing, and just lots of life. So without getting into all the life stuff, but getting back into sharing crafting with you, which I have dearly missed, let's get started. We're going to do a little bit of booking, but not a lot, and a little bit of crafting. So without further ado, let me show you what I've been reading first, or rather what I'm about to read, and what little bit I've been working on most recently. So first up is, I know this is going to surprise you greatly, but I have a new book. Ta-da! So over the past year, I have stopped purchasing as many books as I normally have, especially with moving. I actually had to get rid of some of my books, none of my dearly prized ones, but some of the extra ones that I just know I'm probably never going to crack the cover of. However, within that, and within the time and effort and expense that it takes to move and change from one area to another, I did manage to somehow get myself a subscription to the Library of America. The Library of America has a bunch of different books, and they're usually the authorized editions of a book that have an emeritus professor behind them, or a scholar of some sort who has brought together the most authentic edition of a writer's work, and they publish it in 2 different types of volumes. There's the beautiful cloth-bound volume with the slipcase, and there is a cloth-bound book with a regular slip cover. I have many of these books in both formats. I love them both because they're both well made. A lot of people collect only one or only the other because they love the beautiful editions. I buy them based off of availability and what I like to read. My intent is not to get this whole set, but to get my favorite books that I have not yet already purchased in this set. So I thought I'd show you really quick in case you're interested. I'm going to open this, and I'm so sorry, it might be loud, and I might not actually be able to get it open. We'll see. The struggle is real. One moment. Okay, I successfully made it back. So before I forget, the reason I love Library of America is their goal is to bring together the works of America's foremost authors in these beautiful editions, and they want to preserve them for future generations. So the writers aren't always the most popular. Sometimes they are. Sometimes it's Hemingway. Sometimes it's Powell. Sometimes it's Arndt. It just depends. They have books and authors from all genres, from all time periods, And it is also a independent nonprofit organization, if I remember correctly. They want to preserve the country's literary heritage. It's old at this point. They've been around for a while, and it has over 350 volumes in it. So, you know, they've got Abraham Lincoln, Flannery O'Connor, Eugene O'Neill. I remember seeing Edith Wharton on the website, Henry Adams, James Fenimore Cooper, who is one of my favorite authors. And then if you don't want one of the books for any reason, you can return it without canceling your subscription, which I think is really, really cool. Because they are a nonprofit, they're a little slower about some things. It takes a little longer to bill. It takes a little longer to ship, those things like that. But I feel like because they're bound well, like the books are bound really well, like you can open them and they lay flat. I don't know what type of binding that is, but it's really neat. The hardcovers, they're that cloth bound hardcover that has a slight give to it. Like it's not one of those hardcovers you buy from a chain store that is mass marketed. It's a really high quality binding. And, you know, it's got a ribbon marker in it and all these different things I really love. So I thought I'd introduce you to it. And here we go. I did rip the back open. Let me show you what it looks like real quick. I'll probably edit some of this out so you don't have to sit through all of it, but they do little things of interest. So they put these with each of the books, and each of these is a form. I'm sure this is going to be backwards, actually. It probably is going to be backwards because I'm recording from the front of the camera instead of the back like I usually do. So I apologize in advance. Everything's going to be flipped. Nothing I can do. I can't record from the back today. Anyway, so they have these little tracks almost that come in there that talk about the author and that talk about the book. And then the editor who put the book together, and then give you some of interest items as well. And on the back, you can choose to order the other of interest items that correspond with whatever book you're reading. So if you're reading an author that has a couple different volumes, they will give you the option to purchase the future volumes or other works relating to it, which I think is cool. So like I said, I have the slipcover versions of a lot of them, but not all of them. Some of them I have the regular slip. They have the regular dust jacket. So this is Cornelius Ryan. He wrote The Longest Day and A Bridge Too Far. I'm really sorry this is backward, guys, but you'll get the gist of it. And it's, oh, wow. Okay, so this is the first time I've opened this one. Oh, cool. Pardon me while I take a moment and geek out. Okay, so for those of you who like older films, John Wayne and a bunch of other big name movie stars were in The Longest Day. It came out in the 40s. It was a very long, very star-studded film that was all about D-Day. It was about the pre-planning, the actual jump, and then the invasion of Saint-Mary-Église and a couple other key factors. That movie was actually based off of this book by Cornelius Ryan, which is The Longest Day. He also wrote another book, which some of you old movie lovers will know, which is A Bridge Too Far, is one of his other notable works. So I was really super excited to see this. Oh, this is so cool. Sorry. Okay, so this is really cool. So it also includes his World War II writings, like others. Cornelius Ryan, if I recall correctly, was a journalist. and a war correspondent, I believe, question mark. Can't remember exactly, but he wrote a lot of different little stories, but he also wrote letters, and some of those are in here. Oh, this is so cool. And then also in here, they have these beautiful, I call them the shiny pages, but they have the shiny pages with different pictures on them. There are several sets throughout, and they contain just all the characters. So I think if I saw correctly, yeah, Military Cross winners down here. Just lots of cool, neat features. And then as you can see, so even though, sorry, those are the shiny pages never lay flat. This is a brand new book. It has brand new book smell. And look at this. It literally, it would lay open for me to read it. No creaking spine, no breaking spine, nothing like that. It's just a really well bound book. Anyway, this is so neat. Oh, I am looking forward to this so much. Okay, so, and the other cool thing is they have in color maps on the front pieces of the knight and the commanders and the different bases. And then on the back, they give maps of the assault and then the D-Day gains. The assault and the D-Day gains. So it's a really cool piece of American literary history, as well as an educational piece to a certain extent, which I find really cool. Pardon me, the dog is growling. Okay. I am back. So thank you for letting me geek out over books. I don't know how much of that I am going to edit, but I will edit some of it. Maybe. I don't know. I don't have my computer set up yet. We'll see what happens. So on to crafting. I have a couple of different things that I've been working on. Some you've seen on Instagram and some you haven't. I guess the best way to start is with the oldest thing first. So maybe you will recognize this. So these are my plying balls from my spin, which I started last summer with my Three Waters Farm fiber in the iron blue colorway. This is a Polworth Tussa silk blend, and it's absolutely gorgeous. This is one of my favorite colorways that I've ever worked with. It is stunning. It literally has this iron blue look to it, but when you're spinning it up, oh my goodness. Check this out. This is, oh, I hope this doesn't get too crunchy. This is the colorway. There we go, that's better. So this is the colorway, and it's hard to see in the bag, but there are these deep muted blues in there, and then there are bright, almost teal-like blues in there. There are a couple places that are very matte looking in spite of the silk, and a couple that are super shiny. Okay, hold on. Okay, so Three Waters Farm is MaryAnn Stephen. Oh, that's better. That's better color. So see this deep, deep blue here, and then this almost steely gray blue. So it's almost like a Prussian blue down here, and then like this, oh gosh, I don't even know what to call that. It's just, it's a beautiful steel blue, and the shine and the sparkle from the silk in there. Oh. And is that not satisfying? Look. The squish. Oh my gosh, the squish. Okay, so this is Three Waters Farm. This is MaryAnn Stephen, and they are prolific and beautiful, beautiful dyers. They send all of their fiber in a plastic bag, which I do appreciate. I do try to recycle what I need to recycle, but for me, living where I live, rodents and pests are a very real nuisance, and so I appreciate it coming in plastic because I keep it in there until I spin it up, and then once it's spun up, I put it back in the bag it comes in, so it's protected from mice as well as moths, because those are a very real concern. Anyway, this is something that I've been working on. You might have seen me Was it on YouTube? No, on Instagram. I posted a video on Instagram of this colorway and of spinning it up on my supported spindles, which were, sorry, more loud noises. Oh my gosh, I'm going to talk over it and maybe you won't know, and I hope it won't hurt anyone who's wearing earbuds. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, we're done. So I talked about spinning up this colorway on my Phang spindles. There's some people that call it Pong, some people that call it Pang. My friend from Thailand said it's Phang, so I'm going with it's Phang. I don't know. So I'm just using what I use. But I spun these singles, these beautiful, fluffy, light singles. Ooh, don't focus on me. Focus on the gorgeousness. So these singles were spun up on my Regenbogenbulle Phangs from Charlene. And specifically, I used these 3, which I have since unloaded and now have plying balls. Ignore the colors. So I have 2 Maeve spindles, which are this shape. And this one has a koi on it, and it's really pretty. It's burned into the wood, and then she paints over it. And then this one is also a Maeve, and you can't see it, but it's got a leaping fox on it. You can't see the whole of the fox because I've covered him up, but he's there. That's his nose. Those are his legs as he's leaping. That's his tail. There's his paw prints. And then my favorite one is this samurai dog spindle. I mean, look at him. Is he not adorable? I'm guessing it's an Akita because of the curled tail and because I've owned an Akita in the past. It was the best dog we've ever had. But he's carrying around a samurai sword in his mouth. I'm assuming it's the short one, which is not the katana, but maybe it's the katana. I don't know. I get them confused because it's been a long time since I've read a book about the history of Japan. Anyway, I had spun these beautiful singles up on these, and I had plied them to get a sample that I then knit up, and I decided I was going to try to mimic a single with a very softly, like a singles yarn, with a very softly spun 2-ply. So I underspun it going S, and I plied Z very, very heavily compared to my S twist. And what I came up with, which I don't have because I moved and I have no clue where it's at right now, this beautiful yarn that mimics a single ply with the structural integrity and balance of a 2-ply, which I really appreciate. It made it so nice to work with, to handle, and yet it's still probably going to hold up really well. So I haven't really made any progress off of that. Outside of taking it off the spindles. I haven't even gotten to the plying process yet. And I think, even though this is not the norm, I think I am going to ignore the fancy yarn holder from the kitchen. I think I'm going to ply them back against each other because I spun them up together over the span of a few hours. So I believe that because I was paying attention and my spinning style didn't change, that these are fairly close to being exact matches as singles, and within that I don't see any problem with plying them end to end together. So that is probably what I will do with these, and I'll see how much yarn I come up with, what my yardage looks like. This is almost one full braid of the fiber. It's probably actually 3/4 because the sample was made out of another ball that was about this much yarn. So I'm going with, this is 3/4 of a braid. So we'll see how much yardage that yields and then figure out how much of this I need. I overbought on my fiber so that I would have enough to test and enough to sample and then enough to make more than what I need for the sweater. I'd rather have a little left over and put it into like a cozy memories blanket than run out. So that is my goal. I think I have 6 of these. I know it's been a while, folks. It's been a while, but that's where I am on that project. To see the starting video, you can go to Instagram because I'm not sure if I'm going to edit it in here. I don't think I have the technology right at this moment. Okay, so that is the technically oldest project, but the actual oldest project in terms of how long I've had this fiber is I have started to work on a spin, which is why I offloaded my Phangs spindles. I haven't been able to spend a lot of time spinning, and I wanted to spin in short spurts and just work my way through a singular braid of fiber in between working with the iron blue from Three Waters Farm. So I decided, okay, if that's beautiful Polworth and Tussa, I'm going to go the exact opposite way, and I am going to dig into some of my old Created by LCB. So this is LeAndra for Created by LCB, which is a shop named after her grandma. And this is Superwash Merino Bamboo Nylon. It's a 60-30-10. It is a repeatable colorway. I think she still does it. And I had a 4-ounce braid of it. And it's called Unicorns. And it's fun and beautiful colors that are reminiscent of unicorn colors. So it's just fun, funky fiber, bright colors, really pretty. Super in love with it. I love it's almost an iris purple here, and then a pansy purple over here. And then we have like pops of mint green up here, and then a cerulean blue that is just to die for next to. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this, but this is a robin's egg blue down here. It's beautiful colors, and then it's got a little bit of gold in there, and there's places where the dye has broken, and it's iridescently browns and purples and little breaks of pink and lilac in there. It's beautiful fiber. So I wanted something that was a little just relaxing, not too much, and decided that I was going to divide the braid into 2. So I actually have 2 bundles of braid. I just divided it down the middle. So I've got 2 ounces and 2 ounces of fiber because it's a 4-ounce braid. And that I was just going to take the time to spin up one side of that on my Phangs spindles. So I have the start of that going on my Leaping Fox, which is right here. So I'm not a super big fan of spinning with superwash anything because I don't really like how slippery it is, but at the same time I like how slippery it is. This is a really good, well blended fiber. LeAndra just has the best quality of anything you're ever going to find. Oh, my hand is really shaky. I'm so sorry. But with these Phangs, I'm able to get a very well spun single. It's soft and light. I can't remember what my twist angle is. But it's a pretty intuitive spin for me. It's going to come out probably about a light fingering sport 2-ply, and it's just going to become a hat, quite frankly. Probably a hat, maybe a hat and gloves. It just depends on what my yardage works out to. But I decided to take a break and just spin through one braid of fiber. So the way that I'm breaking this color down, because I don't usually think about color, that sounds really bad, but I don't usually think about micromanaging my braids. I usually either just spin them end to end or break them into chunks and divide the chunks into parts and then spin them that way and just work my way through the braid. I just do whatever feels nice in the moment. I don't really plan it. I don't know. It's not really structured. A lot of my life has been uncontrollable recently, and I think I've rebounded into my crafting by not controlling anything and just going with the flow because it's a pleasant go with the flow. that doesn't require a lot of thought and a lot of structure. And so that's where I've kind of been in life. So that's how I'm spinning right now. You guys know that I didn't really color manage beforehand. If you go back however many years, I really am not a micromanager when it comes to coloring. But with this particular braid, the colors start out with the lime green, light green, robin's egg blue, cerulean blue, and that bit of teal in there. And then they go to the gold, and then from the gold into the purple, back out into the gold, and then back to the blue. So there really is only a little bit of, there's not a lot of color breakup in this. Things are pretty continuous, and I love that, but I didn't want to have huge patches on my hat of just light colors and just dark colors. So I really wanted a really good barber pole throughout the whole skein of yarn. So what I decided to do was I split the braid down the middle into these two parts, and then this part I am spinning from one end all the way to the other, which is what I'm working on right now. And then the second one, I'm actually going to break it apart right in the middle and start with the dark color on the outside, the light colors, the light blue colors through the middle, and end with the gold and the purple. So it'll be gold and purple, blues and greens, and then gold and purple, which will be the exact opposite of the one that I'm currently working on, which is blues and greens, gold and purple, blues and greens. So by doing that, I should get a fairly nice barber pole where things don't meet up too much, and it's an overall cohesive yarn, still with all the bright colors. It won't be super muddy, but it'll be definitely marled, and that's really what I would like right at this point in time. So that's what I'm working on with that, and I just had that little bit done. This is a kind of an in the evening spin before I go to bed, just something super simple, not a lot of thought. I'm spending maybe 5 to 15 minutes on it. Nothing huge. And then when I'm not working on that, my next oldest spin in terms of fiber. So this unicorns, I've had this since, this is pre-COVID fiber. I don't even remember when I got this. This was at least 2019 was when I got this fiber, something like that. So the only thing I have other than that I'm working on spinning, I am doing some wheel spinning, but I'll share that in a different episode because I want to kind of try to keep this one under 30 minutes because I don't have a lot of editing time, is when I moved, you guys are going to laugh at me for this, but when I moved, I found that I had misplaced a spindle, in that I didn't know I had this spindle. I didn't know I had this spindle, and came across and went, ooh, it's empty. I need to fill it with something. So I also went, ooh, I have fiber that I've been wanting to try out that I haven't had time to mess with. So let me see what I can do there. So I found this large Carry Cherry spindle, and it's made out of, I believe, bird's eye. I think this is bird's eye. It's either bird's eye or apple. Most of hers that I have purchased over the past few years are bird's eye or apple. And it's one of her large spindles. It has the, this one has the hook on top. I have to say that my preference is not for the hook. My preference is for the regular shaft. But I really wanted this spindle because I just loved the look and the feel of it. So I am using it, and it is a little bit different. It's not as fast for me with the hook. It actually takes way more time for me to spin with a hook than it does for me to spin without it. But I'm adapting. And I'm doing okay. So I'm just doing a really rough, really, for me, chunky single at the moment that's going to be plied back on itself. And I'm just keeping it super lightweight. And let me see if I can show you this. It's super lightweight. It's going to be a really soft single. And it is going to be eventually, hopefully, a super loose, super fluffy scarf or shawl, I think is what I originally had planned for it. So this is a bat. I have 2 of them. This is a bat from Galena of Carrie Cherry as well. I did not purchase these together. They were 2 separate purchases, but they were probably around the same time frame, I would imagine. And this bat was just, it was calling my name. She has this beautiful, beautiful relationship with other makers in her area. And so she does a lot of collaborative work with local artists. And there's one farm that she goes to specifically, and there is a sheep there called Pancake. And so she had a limited quantity of his fleece, and I got it in something. I can't remember if I got it it was in the first set of bats that I ever got from her. The first set of bats. And it has a little sari silk sprinkled in. It's a brilliant, perfectly white fleece. She threw a little bit of sari silk in there in blues, pinks, and greens, and purples, like the electric shades of that. And it has been one of my favorite spins. I will spin on it for a long time because it just is so soothing and I love it. But the fleece from Pancake was so soft and so, it's so pristine and so beautifully processed, and there's nothing scratchy, nothing itchy about it at all. It's like putting your face into a cloud of cashmere. That's honestly what it feels like. And it's a merino. Pancake was a merino, and I can't remember if he was crossed with something specific. But he's just, oh, he's to die for. He's just disgustingly lovely. So this is his fleece. This was dyed fleece. This was the last little bit that she had, and she made 2 big bats. So this is, I had pulled a chunk off this side, which is what I'm currently spinning, but this was the original bat, and it is so flippin', like, look at this. It is so flippin' lofty. I can't, there's like 4 or 5 inches of space between my hands of just floof. And she added a little bit of lock in there. She left there, and she threw in some silk in black and some little bits of silk in a bright yellow color that blended down a bit. And these, oh my gosh. So I have 2 of these bats. They're just big. They're soft. They're fluffy. I just am enjoying spinning them. It took me, I think I've had these bats for at least 2 or 3 years before I decided that I really wanted to dig into them, because they're so precious to me, because they're perfect. If I could get more Pancake's fleece in this form, I would. And you can just see all the beautiful undertones there. It's not the same as the Three Waters Farm. So when I say this is slate blue, I really mean it. So this is iron blue with some gray in it, but this is truly a gray undertoned, a black undertoned blue. Almost has that indigo look to it comparatively. And it's just, oh, it's so stunning. It's just stunning. The locks are probably, 6 inches, probably 6-inch staple length in here. And that's the shortest staple length. And I'm really enjoying spinning this up. It's very comfortable, very soft, very cuddly, pardon me. Needed a little bit of moisture. Okay, so for the last project that I'm working on, it's nothing big, it's nothing fancy, but I am working on, or at least have started, the Morel sweater by Fiber Tales. So the Morel sweater by Fiber Tales, gosh, that glare is difficult to find a good spot. So the Morel sweater by Fiber Tales is just this gorgeous, oversized, super drapey, super lightweight sweater. I admire Fiber Tales so much. Her podcasts, I enjoy. They're so relaxing to me. I love her personality, her sense of humor, the soft quietness that she is. I just find them very calming, but I find her patterns to be very well written and very fun to knit. So I picked up the Morel sweater and I went, gosh, that's just gorgeous. And it's something that I would wear all the time. It would be a staple piece. I really like drapey things. And this just fit my book, exactly what I needed. So I was looking through the pattern because I had gotten the pattern knowing without a doubt that I was going to knit it. It was just perfect. And I loved that it was a little bit boxy. It was boxy. It is very, I believe it's seamless. I think it's top down. Yeah. Drop shoulder. It's top down, seamless, and it's very textured all over, as you can see. And I was questioning this because I really wanted it to be exactly like hers. The soft cloudiness, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it from just this picture, but the soft cloudiness that is this sweater, I wanted that. And most of the time I substitute yarns, either because of cost or because of preference. I very rarely knit things in a singles yarn. I don't like how singles hold up, which is why I'm making my own faux singles yarn that will be much more durable than a general singles yarn. But with this pattern, I really wanted the heart of what she was creating. And realized that to do that, I would need to use the yarn in the pattern. So I went shopping online, as you know you do, and was looking for this yarn and found it. So she uses the Zero yarn from the Fiber Co., which is one of my favorite brands of yarn. I love how they do yarn. I love how they do I love their quality. I love the quantity that comes in the skeins. They're a little bit more pricey, but that's because you're buying something that's quality. So as it says on the front, it's brushed Surrey alpaca and organic cotton and merino wool. So the way that they do this is they blend the Surrey alpaca. Let me actually show you what the yarn looks like in and of itself. How's that? How about them apples? So they blend the Surrey alpaca and merino wool, and then that's all, folks. The merino wool around this cotton core right here. Let's see if I can. So they blend it around this cotton core. So the merino and the Surrey are almost blown through the center, and it creates this lovely, lovely halo. So this is considered a sport weight yarn, and it is 40% alpaca, 40% cotton, 20% roll, and there's 246 yards per skein, and they come in 50-gram skeins. It's fair trade from Peru, which I also really, really like. And they tend to have, let me show you this real quick. They tend to have who the spinner was, or the place where the spinning happened, which is really cool to know where your stuff is being sourced from. That's just a really cool thing. So I picked up, I wasn't sure what size I wanted to wear. I wasn't sure, I changed sizes. I lost quite a bit of weight. And so I wasn't sure how many skeins I was actually going to need, which size I was actually going to need. So I ended up getting 6 skeins because that is the amount that is used for the last 3 sizes of sweater. And so I knew that even if I had a singular skein over, I could either go on Rav and someone else could potentially purchase it in the future, or that I could use it for a small project. Because with 246 yards, I could easily combine this with another yarn for a hat or for mittens or for something that I wanted to be soft. It could take the part in a lace shawl. It could be an alternative yarn. I knew I would use whatever I needed from it. So I got 6 skeins in this colorway. So this is the Divine colorway. And it is indeed divine. It is so stinking soft and silky. This is almost as soft as this bat from Galena, almost as soft. It is literally, no pun intended, it is divine to work with. So I got 6 skeins of that, and I cast it on, wound up my yarn in a cake. Look, oh, look at my cute little cake. Oh, that's the ugly side. Look at my cute little cake. That's still ugly. It's almost like I put it in a bag or something. So I wound up my little cake, and I threw it on the needles and started to knit. And I had this cute, I was so excited. I had Anna from the Shepherd's Hook. I had been saving this cute little gnome. It's one of the minty gnomes from winter. It's got a peppermint stick right there, and it's got a little red bow, and it's translucent. I don't know if you can see that. It sparkles, and it's just adorable. I was so excited. It matches the yarn really well. I threw it on the needles. I thought I did everything right, and I messed up somewhere. I can't tell you where either. The construction is really neat. You start, so this is the front portion of the sweater without the collar on it. Pardon my fault. Without the collar on it. So this is that front panel, and then this is the cable going down the sides of the sweater, and this is the open space where her little motif that represents Danish cherries, because Morel in Danish is actually a type of cherry. So this little pattern here down the side, that is that section, and that was the cable. I got through the first full repeat of the pattern on the body and realized that my stitch count isn't entirely right, and the pattern doesn't seem to be working out correctly. I don't know what I did wrong, and I can't find a spot where something in a row doesn't match up. So I'm thinking I might have misinterpreted the pattern. So I'm thinking I'm going to, unfortunately, need to rip back, which I'm not super duper excited about, because this was a lot of work and a lot of time, and I don't have a lot of time to knit anymore. But we'll see what happens. So the way that the sweater is constructed is you actually start with just knitting the sides, almost the upper part of your shoulder, and you knit them into 2 triangles and then join them in the back to knit one piece back and forth, and then eventually you join to knit in the round, cast on some stitches and knit in the round, and that's how you create the top of your sweater, which is very interesting construction. For me, really enjoyed trying to figure that out, because it was blind faith there for a little bit. Very clearly written, so I was able to follow it, but I did do something somewhere somehow. Look at this moss stitch. Isn't that gorgeous? So I think I'm going to have to rip this out and start over, which I'm not super thrilled about, but I can do it. So we'll see where I find the time to do that. But I am actually enjoying this knit. It is so squishy. The fabric, I wish you could feel this. The lightweight airiness of this fabric is fantastic. And I do look forward to eventually wearing this sweater. So that's what I have currently. That was probably really loud. I'm sorry. I'm not coordinated right now. So that's what I have. That's what I've been up to for the past, I don't know. That's probably the past since Christmas. For me, I don't have a lot of crafting time, so that's what I've been working on. Where are you at with your crafting? Have you gotten through everything that you wanted to get through? Are you going a little slower than you intended? I feel like I am. But I am so very glad to be back and to get to talk to all of you and to share again in the community. And hopefully this will become a once a month or once every 2 months thing again like it used to be, but we'll find out. So I hope you are having a good, healthy day and a good, healthy life, and that you are treasuring the people in it and loving them the way you want to be loved, and that you're being loved in return. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you in the future. Bye.